Well, what's up everyone? My name's Alpha. I'm so sorry for my voice. I'm not sorry, it's my channel. But I'm sorry. Quick apology. I am sick. I've been sick the past couple of days. I'm also very cold. Earlier today, I went out and drove to school, which is 40 minutes away to my university. And then I sat in there drenched in snow while doing my final exam. Drove back home after 30 minutes of just doing one exam. So yeah, that's how university life is for me. If I do sound stuffy and my voice sound different, that's because of why. But anyways, we're back again with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Scarlet, and today's challenge will be, can I beat Pokemon Scarlet Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Wonder Trade Pokemon only? Now this is actually kind of a fun challenge that I thought of on the fly, and I was like, you know what, maybe I could do it. I just don't like how long the game is. It just feels annoying just to click A 200 million times. But we'll try to get through it. Running down the rules quickly, it's going to be a hardcore Nuzlocke, so the first Pokemon in each route is the only Pokemon I'm going to have. In this situation, I'm going to catch the first Pokemon, and then Wonder Trade it immediately, and then use whatever I get. I can re-roll it. I'll explain more to it when we get into the challenge itself. There's also a dupes clause if I get the same Wonder Trade Pokemon, which surprisingly happened a lot of times. I don't know why, but if I get the same Pokemon, I'll just re-roll that. That's the only time I can re-roll. Also, it's a hardcore Nuzlocke, so there's going to be a level cap, as you see on the bottom left. There's a death counter on the right side, and also the beautiful name in the middle. Maybe I should change the colors. It's too late for that anyways. As well, you got to play on set mode. There's no set mode in this game. I'm not sure why they took it out, but I'm just going to press B and not switch on my Pokemon. I think that's a very easy solution. Also, I can't use items inside a battle. I can use held items, but I can't use, items inside a battle for my bag. But that should be it. Our objective is not to complete every single mission. That's stupid. So I'm just gonna complete the 8 badges like normal, and it should be pretty fun. Anyways, also each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in comments, so leave a nickname in the comment section down below, and hopefully I'll pick yours. Quick preface for this video: not every Pokemon can be nicknamed. I try to nickname everything, but you can only re-nickname a Wonder Traded Pokemon if it's in your language. So I can only re-nickname a Pokemon if it's in an English Pokemon. If it's a French, German, or any other languages from other accounts, I can't re-nickname it. So I just gotta keep the name. So if it says something inappropriate, it's really not my fault. Blame the Wonder Trader. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Let's get into the challenge video itself. To start off with, we took 2 hours to walk through the entirety of the Pokemon Academy, and then finally we have access to the internet. I would hate to be these children. So long, you have to pass through the entire semester before you can access the internet. Now we actually head into the first province, which I think is the West Province. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's the West Province 1. There's gonna be caves where it says like something cave or something desert, and then below it it's gonna have the provinces. That doesn't count. It's gonna have to be the big words, the big letters. That's gonna be the new routes, how we go by it. And our first Pokemon is a Mareep. Obviously it's not our first Pokemon, but we just need a second Pokemon in the box so we can Wonder Trade it. Our first actual Pokemon is going to be, give me a Frigibax. Yeah, it's giving me the pseudo legendary Pokemon. It's at level 36 though, so it's over the level cap by a marginal amount, so I can't actually use him. So now we have to trade our starter Pokemon that we got in the first town, and we got a Golduck at level 57. So we got 2 Pokemons that we cannot use at all. So we have to kind of go back. We can actually use them, but we can't fight the gym with them because they're way over the level cap. So that's how I'm playing. So I decided to go into the East Province, and this time we actually get something good. We Wonder Traded away a Lechonk from the East Province 1, and we're going to get ourselves a Diglett, which is going to be level 1. Who is breeding Diglets? Anyways, we're gonna Wonder Trade. We're gonna get ourselves a Diglett, which is nice. And then I'm trying to encounter these Magikarp in Mesagoa. I think it's Mesagoa, the main town of the game, and I can't encounter them. My legendary is doggy paddling and drowned so many times. You can see the time skip. I spent a long time trying to get these Magikarp to encounter. It was not working. You'll find out later that they're not actually encounterable. So I felt dumb once I unlocked swimming. But anyways, from there, we're also gonna go into, I think, the East Province 2 or somewhere along the lines of that. It's in the desert, as you can see from the background. We get a Dratini as our encounter, which is super cool. And heading along the way, I think this is West Province 2 possibly, where we get ourselves a Magikarp, which is going to be huge. It evolves to Gyarados pretty early in the game. And then we're going to head into the big cave, which has a lot of scary Pokemon. It's going to be the Alfrenata Cave, or Cavern. And from our encounter of that, we're going to Wonder Trade it and get ourselves a Charmander. A lot of people are gonna be breeding Charmander and Fuecoco, so we're gonna get a lot of those in the early stages. From there, we're gonna go through the gym test and face off against our very first gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against the grass gym leader, which I don't know her name is. So we're gonna start the battle off against her using my Charmander, which actually is a monster. As you can see, I start the battle off against her little cricket and I just use basic Ember. Knocks out the cricket in one shot, which I was surprised by, because normally, even though it's super effective, a lot of times when you start the game off in the intro, nothing really one-shots anything. But as you can see here, we're able to, I think she's the bug gym leader, not the grass gym leader, but we're able to one-shot 2 things on our team. I don't know why I Terra Evolve. This is so useless. It doesn't boost your power unless they're in a Terra Shield. I think that's the only time it boosts the power. We're able to Ember and Dragon Breath into the Teddy Ursa to knock him out, and we get the first gym badge of the game, which is pretty simple. Nice and sweet. From there, we're actually going to Wonder Trade our Pokemon in this area, which I'm not too sure which the area is, but just trust me, is a new area. But I'm going to Wonder Trade and get myself a Nacli. Is it Nacli? I think it's German, so I can't nickname him, which is unfortunate. But from there, we're going to move on to the second gym in the game, and this is going to be the grass gym. And we're going to start the battle off against him with, obviously, my Charmeleon. You know, Charmeleon evolves. The level cap is so small. The highest level cap is 48, which means I can't use my Golduck in any of the gyms. I have to wait until the Elite Four to use my Golduck if I want to use my Golduck. But anyways, from there, we're able to Ember into the Petalil, which I don't really like that the gym leaders always got to use like old Pokemon. I wish they stick to the new Pokemons only. But anyways, we're able to kill the Smoliv as well. And his final Pokemon will be a Sudowoodo, which goes for a grass move against my Charmeleon. So we're gonna able to two-shot him and knock him out. I mean, super simple. He's lucky he has 30, but I would have one-shot him. Charmeleon's powerful, as you see. We're able to beat down the second gym leader in the game and get our second gym badge, which is pretty nice. Oh, for reference, some of those encounters previously was not actually the West Province, that was the South Province. This is also the South Province, I believe. Very close, I think the South 3rd Province, something like that. We get ourselves a Fuecoco, which I kind of like. I added to my team, obviously, as you see from the bottom of my team list, but I don't actually use them that often. I actually didn't use them. I dropped them after this battle, I believe. As you see, I use my Golduck outside of gym fights because it's a pretty safe way. I mean, he doesn't listen to me half the time, but when he does, it's pretty useful. As you can see, I'm able to Golduck and beat down the Titans pretty easily. Now we actually head into the desert, and we get a Silicobra, and we're going to Wonder Trade it and get ourselves a Sprigato, which is giving me the grass starter Pokemon, which I haven't used in my adventure yet. So I decided to replace my Fuecoco with that thing. So we're going to have that on our team. And unfortunately, I got too excited and went after the Ground Titan, which you're supposed to get after like the 6th gym in the game. Unfortunately, I decided to go after him. I was about to beat him, but my Golduck got low, so I switched out into my Pseudo Legendary, which maybe wasn't the greatest idea. But he died and he went down, so that was not good. I also want to lower his attack stat because all my Pokemon are level 20 at this point, so I want to switch out. I'm gonna sack my Igglybuff as well because I can't really do anything, and just have to hope my Golduck listens and knocks out the Great Tusk for me. And lucky enough, I survived a Rapid Spin. Luckily, it went for Rapid Spin, and he's able to listen to me finally and knock out the Great Tusk for me. From there, we're not gonna do any more Titans for ever. We're gonna do the Steel Titan a little later, which is gonna be the last Titan I do because obviously the upgraded abilities are pretty useful to traverse the terrain. We're also gonna face off against the 3rd gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against the Electric type gym leader, and her battle's actually pretty difficult. I think I lose a Pokemon here. I knock out the little bird thing, the electric bird, pretty easily. Her next Pokemon is gonna be a Bellarbot, which unfortunately has a water move, so I had to switch between a lot of my Pokemon. She's also an electric type. My Dratini gets really low, so I don't want to risk using that, but I'm able to switch out into my Diglett and I'm able to knock out our Bellabolt. And then her next Pokemon will be a Luxio. I try to cheese it with my Gyarados. Unfortunately, it gets paralyzed, so I have to switch out to my Diglett to knock out the Luxio. And then from there, her final Pokemon will be a Miss Magius, which has Levitate, and I'm unable to hit him with obviously my Diglett. So I try to use my Sprigato evolution. It did not work, so I had to sack my Diglett and then go out into my Charmeleon, and Charmeleon has to save the day. Lucky enough, it does, as I'm able to Terra Evolve and also Ember to knock him out, which is pretty nice. So we're able to knock out the Miss Magius. We lose another Pokemon in Diglett, but it's not the worst thing. From there, we're going to use our Golduck to train up our Pokemon to the level cap, because it's actually pretty easy to just get lucky and get the XP, because we could heal up our Pokemon like instantaneously. And then from there, we're going to face off against the water gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Sprigato evolution, which I should learn the name of. The name is Florigato. Okay, I kind of like Sprigato more, but Florigato, I didn't actually use it against the Veluza. I went to my Gyarados to actually bite him down and knock him out, which is pretty nice for us. His next Pokemon is going to be a Wugtrio, so I went out into my Florigato. It's not able to do a lot of damage as it gets Headbutt and Flinch. So unfortunately, I can't knock out the Wugtrio. I went out into my Gyarados, and surprisingly enough, Wugtrio is very, very fast. As you can see, it does a lot of damage to my Gyarados and outspeeds me. And unfortunately, I get flinched a few times. Lucky enough, I am able to crunch into the Wugtrio and knock him out. But that means my Gyarados is at 1 HP. In the middle of this, he's going to Terra Evolve his Crab Brawler. I go out into my Rellor, which is just a throwaway Pokemon I got. I wasn't going to use it anyway, so it's going to be on the death list. I then go out to my Dragonair, which I go for a Thunder Wave against him. And unfortunately, I need to do enough damage so I can go out into my Florigato, because I don't believe in Florigato being able to knock him out at this HP. I don't know why I stayed in. I was kind of hoping it gets paralyzed so I get this bit of chip damage and I could save my Dragonair, but I needed that chip damage, so my Sprigato was able to knock him out. And luckily enough, he does get knocked out. Maybe I should have sacked my Surskit going back, but it's a tough call to make. I kind of wish I went back and just sacked my Surskit and just risked it. See if Florigato is able to knock out the Crab Brawler, but it happens. From there, I think this is going to be the West Province number 3, which gave me a duplicate. We got another Charmander, so I'm going to reroll and get ourselves a Dachshund. I think that's what it's called. It's a little donut looking dog Pokemon, which is kind of cute. We're going to have it on our team and then train it out. This is going to be our team for a little bit. We even get a Barraskewda, nothing crazy. It's a Barraskewda. It's over level, so we can't even use him. But from there, we're going to face off against Larry. Larry's going to be the 5th gym leader in the game. I know him by name because he's the one that pissed me off in the previous Hardcore Nuzlocke on this game. He's the one that knocked out 2 of my Pokemon. So we're going to start the battle off against Larry using my Charizard. Brand new Charizard. I'm able to Flamethrower into the Kamala and not do a lot of damage. Yeah, I got some bad EV spread or something, but I'm unable to knock out the Kamala in like 2 shots. So it takes 3 shots, I take a lot of damage, and I fell asleep. So I have to go out into my Masquerain next to lower the attack stat of the Dunsparce, or the Dunsparce, the big one, which is pretty ugly. Then I go to my Rock Monster, which evolves from my Nacli, something like that. I'm able to knock out the Dunsparce with it, and then he goes out to the Staraptor, which I was scared he might have close combat. So I go out to my Gyarados to lower his attack. He ends up using Facade against me, as I'm able to do a bit of damage, but obviously he's going to do a lot more damage to me. So I switch out into my Nacli evolution looking thing, my Rock Monster. I'm able to knock out eventually his Staraptor, as I also have Recover, and also I kind of like this move Sulk here. It's like a continuous attack. It's like Sand Tomb, but even if I switch out, it's still stuck on him. So I kind of really like this move. It's like nice passive damage as a Recover, and I'm able to beat down Larry without losing a single Pokemon, which is pretty nice. Good change for once. From there, I'm going to switch out my Masquerain for this little insect. It's like a rat and bat Pokemon. From there, we're also going to train our Pokemon up to the level cap. Really annoying because there's no other way to quickly evolve. We have to go face off against the strongest Pokemon possible with our Pokemon that don't even listen to us. From there, we're going to face off against the Rapper. We're going to face off against the 6th gym leader in the game, the Ghost type gym leader. And it's a double battle fight, so it's going to be a lot more annoying. Also, it's interactive, so they will actually give them stat boosts, which is really annoying. As you can see, I start the battle off against her using my Dachshund and also my Gyarados. I'm able to break the Mimikyu's disguise, and bite into the Bayonet. Get myself a stat boost because of that. But from there, I'm going to charm down the Mimikyu so it doesn't do any more damage. Also knock out the Bayonet, but it goes for an Icy Wind, so I'm actually slower now. Kind of unfortunate. I'm able to eventually knock out the Houndstone as well. I have to switch out to my Norm type to avoid the Phantom Force. But her last Pokemon will be a Toxicity, which turns into a Ghost type. And I know this thing has Discharge for sure. So I want to switch out my Gyarados into my Dachshund. I'm okay with sacking him, but I don't really have an answer for him as well, as she's able to get a free stat boost just by knocking out my Pokemon. So it's kind of annoying. I do get a Poison, which is nice, some residual damage, but she gets all the stat boosts like an Ancient Power stat boost, and now she's able to outspeed and also destroy most of my Pokemon. So then I go into my newly evolved Garganacl. Garganacl is the rock Pokemon over there, and also my Gyarados to bait in the Discharge, which I switch out to my Meowscarada. I'm gonna go with that. Unfortunately though, I assume she's not going to use Discharge again since it's not super effective to my Meowscarada, and it's not really getting killed my rock Pokemon either. So I go for a Rock Slide. I'm gonna end up knocking the Toxicity, but I'm gonna switch out into my Charizard, expecting her to go to something else like a Hyper Voice or something. She ends up using Discharge again for some reason. Maybe that's her win con, maybe to get double paralyzed so I don't hit her. It doesn't matter. Like, that was a dumb play by her, but it worked out as she's able to knock out my Charizard because of that bad prediction. I don't know what she was doing, but I lose 3 Pokemon because of that. And yeah, my team is looking very depleted. So we actually have to go back through the entire map and look at the encounters we haven't had. We haven't had the North Area 3 encounter, which we're going to go catch right now. We also haven't got the Sea encounter, so we haven't had the North Paldea Sea, East, West, and none of those. So we're going to go out and catch a bunch of Pokemon. We end up having, I think, 7 or 8 Pokemon, as you see in the box, as we Wonder Trade them all away. And here are the Pokemon I encounter. Some highlights: I did get myself a Rockruff, which is cool, very, very cool. We also get an Avalok, which is level 75, so that means I can't use them for the entire game, so that was just a wasted encounter. We also get ourselves a Corvisquire, which we're gonna end up using. We end up using up a Corvisquire, a Rockruff, and also a Toedscool. It's gonna be Tentacool, but the Paldea version. We're not gonna use anything else because our team is just gonna be set like that. So we're gonna use that for our team. We're gonna spend a lot of time training, which surprisingly takes a long time. It took me like an hour and a half to get them up to 40. Even though I'm using level 75 to get like a free kill and everything, I end up having to use the Lucky Egg, which actually worked better. And then from there we can face off against the 7th gym leader in the game, the Psychic gym leader. Her puzzle is pretty boring, but we're gonna start the battle off against her using my Meowscarada, something like that. I get some Home Claws up against her Girafarig. I'm able to Night Slash, knock out her Giraffe Pokemon, and also go for a Flower Trick against her Gardevoir, which will one-shot it, because it always crits as well. And then her Ostrich Pokemon comes out, I'm able to Night Slash it and knock him out. And then her final Pokemon will be a Florges, but since it drops its Fairy typing, it goes to a pure Psychic Pokemon. I'm able to go for a Night Slash, and it's going to one-shot him since I have +2. I'm able to sweep my first gym leader since, I don't know, the 2nd gym leader in the game. Jeez. From there, we're going to actually move on pretty quickly, and we're going to face off against the Ice gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against them, obviously using my Lycanroc. Lycanroc's kind of powerful, as I'm able to Cell Rock only and knock out their Frostmoth, and Rock Slide to flinch down the Beartic, and also Cell Rock to knock them out. Their next Pokemon will be a Sentient. I think Sentient is going to be the best pronunciation of that. But I'm able to Steel Wing using my newly got Corviknight, which I'm able to two-shot it. It's kind of getting iffy. Oh, I switched out to my Gyarados to knock out the Set Titan. Then from there, I can switch out into Notaria, which I kind of risked it. I'm not too sure why I risked it, but it hit me with a Hurricane. It got me confused. Lucky enough, I broke through the confusion, and my Gyarados didn't go down. But I'm going to switch out into my Garganag next, which is able to knock out the Altario, which is pretty simple for us. And we get our 8th gym badge of the game super easily. And the level cap's jumping 12 levels, so we have to go out and train up our Pokemon immensely. We have to get all of them to level 60, and then from there we're going to sell up a bunch of items and TMs that we got in our adventure. And we actually got over $200,000, which isn't a lot if you're playing through this game normally, but I kind of ran through the game a little faster than normal, so it's actually a lot of money, which I'm able to buy a lot of equipment. I'm able to buy a bunch of battle items and a lot of healing items. Pretty nice. I don't really use the HM shop or the TM maker, so I mean, that's not too useful in my eyes. But from there, we can head into the Pokemon League. There is no Victory Road, there is no rival battle before it, so we're gonna go straight into the Pokemon League. And unfortunately, I failed this quiz multiple times. Not because I'm dumb, don't get that twisted, I'm not dumb. It's just because I keep button mashing and I keep not reading the question, because the question just pops up randomly, I feel. So I start pressing B, but then the last question is going to be, do you like Pokemon? And you press B, it's going to auto answer no. So I pressed no on the final answer as well. So I actually failed this quiz 3 different times, just because I want to button mash. From there, we're going to face off against the first Elite Four member. We're going to face off against Rika. He's going to be the ground type Elite Four member, and he's actually pretty boring. Like, his team has 1 new Pokemon. Is there no other ground types in this game? But where we can basically send out my Toedscool, which is going to be the Tentacool Paldean version. I'm able to Giga Drain into the Whiscash, knock him out in one shot. Earth Power into the Camerupt to one-shot him as well. And then the Donphan comes out as 30, but is useless. I also have Leftovers, which maybe wasn't the best play. Maybe it could have, like, I don't know, Wise Lens or something. But I'm able to knock out the Dugtrio, and then his last Pokemon is going to be a Clogsire, which I mean, it's not a good Pokemon. It gets me poisoned eventually. It can't knock me out. Doesn't do anything for a long time. Pretty sure this can stall me out. It took like 3 extra minutes for this battle because of this Clocksire, because it kept protecting every other turn. But eventually, I'm able to knock out the Clocksire and also Rika, and he's pretty easy. From there, we're going to face off against Poppy next. Poppy is going to be the Steel type little girl of the Elite Four, and she can start the battle off against us using a Copperajah, which I did have a plan for this. My plan was to use Corviknight. I'm not too sure why my Meowscarada is out, and I Terra Evolve it, and then it got hit with a Play Rough, and it still went down to low HP, so that was horrible. From there, I'm just going to use my Gyarados to knock out the Copperajah. Luckily enough, it 2-shots the Copperajah. How? And then her next Pokemon is going to be a Magnezone, which I don't know how to really stop, but I realize I have a Ground type, which could be used for the entire battle, minus Corviknight. Now, remember when I say minus Corviknight? Something's interesting going to happen. So we're going to knock out the Magnezone, and then her next Pokemon will be a Corviknight. You know, normal people would just switch into their own Corviknight or into their own Gyarados, because just, you know, Intimidate and all that. No, I decided to go for Earth Power. I misclicked. I actually wanted to go for a Spore because I believe my Toedscruel would survive a Corviknight Brave Bird. So, I mean, it was a bad play in general, but I lose my Toedscruel because of that. Wow, that was just an awful play. From there, I'm going to switch out. That was just terrible. I still did have a plan. I had Corviknight, Bulk Up, and Body Press for this entire Elite Four member, but unfortunately, I forgot about it. So I kept using my Gyarados against the Corviknight. I knock out the Corviknight. She then switches it into a Bronzong, even though it's the best situation to send in my Corviknight to set up a little bit and knock out the last 2 Pokemon safely. I kept my Gyarados in and went for Crunches to knock out the Bronzong. And then her last Pokemon will be a Tinkaton. And then I finally realized my Corviknight has Bulk Up and Body Press for this situation. So I'm able to Bulk Up and then Body Press into the Tinkaton to knock him out in one shot. And we end up beating Poppy with only losing 1 Pokemon, which isn't a great thing at all since we had a plan to actually sweep her. So that was terrible. From there, we're going to face off against Larry, and Larry is easily the easiest one. So we're going to start the battle off against Larry using a Pokemon that I haven't used in a little bit. It's going to be my Lycanroc. Actually, I use every member on my team. I use Lycanroc for the final gym of this game. Anyways, we're going to start with Lycanroc. We're going to Stone Edge into the Tropius. His next Pokemon is going to be a Staraptor, so I switched out into my Corviknight. And Corviknight takes a lot of close combats from the Staraptor. It takes 2. I'm able to Drill Peck, knock out the Staraptor, which is pretty nice. And then his next Pokemon will be an Altaria. I know it's going to go for a Flamethrower as I go for my Lycanroc. Stone Edge actually hits, so that's 2 Stone Edges. His next Pokemon is going to be an Oricorio, and then I actually land that one as well, so that's 3 Stone Edges. And I really want to risk it. He went into his Flamigo, which gave me his Flamingo Pokemon. I think my best shot here was to go for a Stone Edge, because he's going to actually Terra Evolve into just a pure Flying type, and this could actually kill. So I went for a Stone Edge, and it actually landed. We hit 4 or 5 Stone Edges. We hit 4 or 4 Stone Edges, and we also get a crit on the last one. So we end up beating Larry without losing a single Pokemon. And then from there, we're going to face off against Hassel. Hassel is going to be the Dragon type Elite Four member, and I made an oopsie. I think I put a Figgy Berry on my Gyarados, which isn't supposed to be the right berry. But anyways, I start the battle off against his Noivern. Unfortunately, using the wrong move. I went for a Dragon Dance and then Ice Fang, which actually worked better for me because I did put the wrong berry on, and you will see that I can confuse later. But I'm also able to one-shot a Draglich, which is very nice. And his next Pokemon will be, a Haxorus, which I decided to boost up against. And that was a terrible play because he went for a Rock Tomb and almost knocked me out. And then I get confused by my own berry, so that was just a horrific turn. From there, I switched out to my Corviknight. I did some bulk ups up against him. He does do a lot of damage with Crunch, which I didn't even know he learned Crunch. So that's something new. But eventually I'm able to knock out the Haxorus, but I'm at low HP. Kind of annoying. But I'm also able to take a Dragon Rush from the Flapple, which I don't understand why he has. But I'm able to knock out the Flapple. And then his next Pokemon will be a Baxcalibur, which I don't really like this chance against me. I switched out to my Gargantuanak, which takes a Glaive Rush. Not too well, but I'm able to Stone Edge him, and he's left on 1 HP. I decided to switch out to my Meowscarada, expecting him to go for a Brick Break, and just hoping I could live. He actually went for a Brick Break and ended up knocking me down to low HP, but Baxcalibur has very low speed, so I'm able to outspeed him pretty easily using my Meowscarada, and we end up knocking out Hassel. So, Hassel goes down, and now we face off against the worst Elite Four champion of the game. I don't like this champion at all. Geta is terrible. We end up knocking out her first Pokemon pretty easily, her little ostrich Pokemon, but then she switched out into a Go-Go, and then I'm able to go out into my Corviknight to go for 6 bulk ups in front of her, and that should be the end of the battle. I'm glad this fight got a very boring battle because she's a very boring member of the Elite Four. Like, everyone else gave me a decent amount of trouble besides Rika. She has 2 Gen 6 Pokemon randomly, which she didn't need to. I wish they kind of just switched that out for a full Palkia team. Her team is just garbage in general, but the 2 random Pokemon that's not supposed to be in her region are on her team, which I don't really like. I think she's the worst champion because of that. But we end up beating, I'm just going to skip it entirely. We end up beating Geta, and then from there we face off against Nemona, which is going to be the final champion fight in my opinion. So we're going to face off against Nemona, which, I mean, started out pretty well. We're able to knock out the Lycanroc. I mean, that's nice and all, but unfortunately, she switched out to her Palmy, which will knock out my poor Meowscarda, which I was kind of expecting to knock out. So unfortunately, I get a death again, so 10 deaths on the board. I go out to my Lycanroc to knock out the Palnot. She then switches out to her Earthworm. I switched out to my Gyarados, which is able to do very minimum damage against the Earthworm. It's going to actually knock me down to low HP. I am able to knock out the Earthworm, and then her next Pokemon will be a Dunsparce. I decided to go out to my Garganacnite. Does a little bit of damage. I didn't want to risk Stone Edge missing, so unfortunately Earthquake does not kill her. So I decided to go out to my Corviknight. It's able to actually knock out the Dunsparce, but then her next Pokemon will be a Goodra. Now it gets pretty risky because I know this thing has like some kind of elemental move. So I had to go out to my Lycanroc, and then I Stone Edge the Goodra. But it's gonna muddy water me and knock on my Lycanroc. So that's 11 deaths on the board. Unfortunate. I go out to my Gyarados. It's gonna outspeed, knock out the Goodra, and then her next Pokemon will be her own Meowscarda. From there, I go out to my Corviknight, which is going to take a hit from him. Unfortunately, it has Thunder Punch as well, so it's getting Thunder Punch and paralyze my Corviknight. Lucky enough, I broke through paralysis once, and then on the following turn, I get hit, no crits, and I also break through paralysis once again. If I didn't actually land that Drill Peck, I might have been in a lot of trouble because yeah, I only have Gyarados and Garganacnite left. So maybe I would have just switched in between my Gyarados and Garganacnite just to get some Intimidate off against her. But it was looking really ropey if I got paralyzed once. But it didn't matter. We end up beating down Nemona, and we end up beating the game. We end up beating Pokemon Scarlet Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Wonder Trade only. Now I'm gonna go blow my nose, but thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It means a lot to me you guys make it this far. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. My name's been Alpha. Hope you guys all have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.